And now it's time for the moon phase information for January 2025 with your host, Alyson Wonderland. Tell us something good, Alyson.
I know, right?
I'm going to try. I mean, there's a lot happening this year, and there's not much going on in, I think compared to this year, there's not that much going on in January.
Okay, good. We'll take it.
So, well, first of all, okay, we're in Capricorn season. We're in the Capricorn moon cycle because we had our new moon on December 30th. And Capricorn energy is all about setting foundations so that you can succeed. A Capricorn new moon is paired with a Cancer full moon to help balance out that like success and drive and achievement with self-care, nurturing, mothering yourself. So balancing these two things, what are the things that you can do to support yourself to sustain your goals and your intentions for the year? Which is a really wonderful combination. So I think that we should take the pressure off of setting intentions and goals and laying the groundwork instead, like not putting pressure on yourself because it is winter. We're supposed to be integrating everything from last year. What did you learn? What are the obstacles that you overcome or that you overcame? And finding that motivation and that drive. I think Capricorn is that like drive to do the thing.
It's the goat trying to get up the mountain.
Yes. And finding where that strength is, finding where that confidence is. It's not necessarily acting on anything, especially because we still have Mars retrograde and because it's still winter. So let winter be winter, hibernate until spring. And that's when you really want to start taking action on things. But that the Mars retrograde is really like feeling stuck in the mud, like you can't move forward with things. And so I know I've been harping about Mars retrograde in Leo since I found out about it last year. And there was one thing that comes up in January that I wasn't aware of until now, because I've been complaining about the Leo-ness of it. Is like, why? Because people with Leo sun, moon, or rising are going to feel the Mars in Leo retrograde more profoundly. But it's actually on January 6th, it's actually going back into Cancer a little bit, which I'm excited for the relief of that, taking the pressure off of the Leo-ness of it. But Cancer is the crab. Cancer is moody and Cancer is crabby, and Mars is angry and active.
Oh, this sounds fun.
So it's very irritating. So while I'm like, yay, take pressure off Leo, now it's like everybody's gonna be grumpy. Mm-hmm. Having the like winter grumps. So again, take the pressure off of the resolution. And I think just like, let yourself figure it out. Like if you're grumpy, figure out why. What is irritating you? How can you make yourself feel better? How you can support yourself? How you can sustain yourself? Because I think the rest of this year, we're going to have all of these different things coming at us. And we need to know how do we calm ourselves down? How do we not react? How do we not fight? How do we not get so low that we can't get up again? Like, how are we going to come back to center and come back to ourselves? So the focus is like really focusing on the foundation, not necessarily at the like end goal.
Yeah.
The groundwork, the bottom layer, the the bottom layer of the mountain that you're climbing.
when I looked at my seasonal planning for this year and the Just Phase Moon Planner, I was like, I don't even know what I want this year. So
Yeah.
this is going to have to wait.
I think that Mars retrograde is like there's no like when you feel stuck, you're like, how do I move forward? You just it's like hard to envision. It's hard to see.
I can't see it at all. So I was just, which I, of course, Leo. So that probably makes the sense.
Yeah.
Why. So I'm just going to let it slide until something makes some sense. We had some questions for you.
It makes sense because not to give too much away, but that is something I think that might be kind of a theme that I've seen for 2025 is uncertainty.
Yeah.
So,
what was the question?
There was some questions. What about the meteor shower this week? Or do you know anything about the planetary alignment around the 20th?
I don't know anything about the meteor shower. Meteor showers, I think we do usually come across like regularly, like I don't know which one this is, but usually around the same time of year. And the same thing with the planetary alignment. That does happen every winter. When you can see them all in a row. Do
you know if it has any significance for us?
Probably. They're all holding hands.
And then there's another question here Luce was thinking about. No one celebrated this time as New Year until the Romans. Does that have any effect on the zodiacs?
I mean, I really think that we shouldn't celebrate New Year until
springtime. Yeah, which is what KC was saying too. Starting to look at it through a witch's lens.
Yeah.
You can't plant things to grow in the dead of winter.
So did the Romans create the Gregorian calendar?
Yes. Yeah. They've had a couple different calendars. But so that would change a month, but I don't know if it would necessarily change the zodiac, right? Because the zodiac is the time of the year and where the stars are aligned.
Yeah.
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 But it wouldn't necessarily be like January or February or whatever. And I also agree about starting the new year probably at the spring solstice.
We talk about a lot every year. It's like that Aries time is really the time that really gets you fired up to start something. So that would make more sense. Yeah.
Plus, we talked about this when we were doing like our Christmas shows, and we were, talking a lot about the shamanistic side of winter celebrations. But like so much of it, is like you have the birth, and then you have like, the harvest, and then you have all these seasons, and then winter is the death. So it's like, why is the death should be at the end of the year, right? Like not at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
But we got to find things to celebrate in the dead time of year, or else it gets really depressing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many celebrations.
Well, you saw the winter solstice. The days are getting longer. They don't seem like it yet, but I'm very much stoked about that because these early days have been dragging me down. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm a night person anyway, but it's like, it's just been like I have no clue what time it is yet and how long I've changed box. And it's like, like tonight, it was like, I'm watching the game and it's like dark outside and it's like, it's time to do the witching hours, but it's like 5:30. I'm like, no, it's like, 3 hours or whatever. But yeah.
Keisha had a prediction about the planets aligning. It's probably going to align and F stuff up. Thanks, Keisha.
It could align and make stuff great, right? It could align.
Yeah, why not?
It could. So what else is going on for January?
Well, I'm hoping that by January 8th, so Mars starts to go back into Cancer January 6th, and which is not necessarily a time that we want people to be grumpy, extra grumpy.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping by January 8th, Mercury is moving into Capricorn. So Mercury is the planet of communication, and it's really sticking out at me that like Mercury, Mars, and Venus are the closest to us, and they're always kind of around the same sign or close to the same sign and as the sun, and we're all kind of in this thing together. But Mars is doing all this weird shit, like, and Venus is doing weird things later. is going retrograde in February. And it's just Mercury seems to be like holding our hand. And so Mercury moving into Capricorn, I'm hoping is going to help solidify that foundation of what maybe finding clarity of what your intentions are, what your goals are. Having that Mercury in Capricorn, Sun in Capricorn, still in the Capricorn moon cycle. Hopefully we can find some clarity of all of this, even though Mars is still retrograde and we're still feeling stuck in the mud. The full moon in Cancer, I think, is really going to highlight something that helps sustain you for the rest of the year. What are the things that, I know I already said this, but what are the things that will nurture you, sustain you, keep you replenished, and almost kind of like making a nest that you can always come back to throughout the year when things get crazy. You can come back to yourself, breathe, do whatever it is you need to recuperate. And then January 20th or January 19th, the sun moves into Aquarius, which Aquarius brings all of that mental awareness and wisdom. Aquarius is like the trendsetter, and they're trying the new things and doing things differently. So Aquarius helps bring clarity to the goals that you've set and helping you figure out, I want to do this thing. How can I do it? How can we get from, we want to be a better society, we want to have a better community, we want to have better this and better that, and we want to accomplish these things, but how do we do it? How do we get there? What are the new ways of thinking? This also can be like new technology time of year, especially when Mercury follows into Aquarius on the 27th. So new technology, it does kind of bring up the idea of alien communication, because Aquarius is just like out of the box kind of thinking. Then at the end of January, Uranus goes direct. It's been retrograde since October. And Uranus is the planet of liberation and freedom. So I do think that might be the kickstart of whatever's going to happen this year.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
When did you say that was?
January 30th. So last day of January.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's been the
oh my gosh, I forgot to talk about Venus is moving into Pisces January 2nd at the beginning of the month. And this is very
today.
Oh yeah, today. So this is very like dreamy, romantic kind of energy. So I love Pisces energy, and I just like holding on to whatever Pisces energy we can get because it just makes me feel better.
Good.
So that's like the good thing. Everything else is kind of very hard and rigid and
yeah. Okay. But nothing like super serious yet.
Yeah.
We're saving that for the predictions for the year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have a lot to get into with that tonight. So yeah, that's well, I'm glad because that's what we got going on. So
yeah.
That's why we're here.
We didn't have anything to talk about. That would be SOL, I guess so.
But first, let's look back at last year's predictions.